What's good everyone? In this video, I want to share with you guys how you can make 6 digits with a small portfolio trading NFTs. Stay tuned. Okay, so there are many different kinds of strategies that can take you to 6-digit portfolios easily. But I think the strategy that I'm sharing with you guys today is one of the simplest and the least risk to take. So just a summary of my strategy. The first step is just to get into an NFT Alpha group, preferably one that gives a lot of whitelist opportunities. Secondly, it's to mint and flip your whitelist until you have around 5 Ethereum in liquidity. In the third step, you will then reinvest some Ethereum into an established project, mainly projects with above 0.5 ETH floor and that have already established themselves in the NFT space. Or you can take a high risk by investing in a project which has a lower floor, around 0.1 to 0.2 ETH floor, and that was just launched just a few weeks ago. In the fourth step, you will then sell when you think it's a fair value, and you reinvest these profits into NFT blue chips. And some examples would be Clonex, Azuki, or World of Women. Just some examples that come to my head right now. Okay, so that's the summary of the strategy of mine. Okay, before I move on, why do I concentrate so much on whitelist mints and flipping them? Because you take the least risk when you mint something at their mint price and flip them at a higher price instead of buying off OpenSea. I have said this many times in my previous videos, and so this is still one of the safest strategies out there. Okay, let me just give you an example. For Haki, as you can see, the mint price was about 0.05 ETH or so only, and when it launched, I think it hit a floor of about 0.5 or so, and so this was such an easy flip. For those that are whitelisted, you make a profit of about almost 0.4 ETH just from this one single whitelist opportunity. So this is very important. So to those newbies out there and to those who have very low liquidity, whitelist is very important for you guys. You need to keep getting whitelist mints and flipping them until you have enough liquidity. Okay, so just a disclaimer, preferably you would start off with about 0.5 Ethereum minimum before coming into the NFT space and trade NFTs. Because if you have less than that, it's really very difficult to earn in this space. But fear not, if you have less than 0.5 ETH, you still can make money trading NFTs, and I will share with you guys later on. Okay, first up, for low liquidity people which have less than 0.5 Ethereum. These are just a few steps that I think will be very profitable for you guys. And first up, you should always constantly stay on Twitter, follow influencers like, let's say, Ryan the Crypto, Kosher Plug, all these YouTube influencers. Usually they have a lot of giveaways on their Twitter pages, and if you're lucky, you can win whitelist for free. Other than that, you should also try to find new upcoming NFT projects super early on Twitter as well. Because most of these Twitter pages, if you find them very early, they will give whitelist to early supporters. Or better, you can get into their Discord very early and you have the most chance of earning whitelist compared to those who found the project late. Secondly, try to get into free mints as well. There are many free mints in the space constantly coming up every day. So some of these free mints can go up to crazy amount of prices. And I'm not kidding when I say you can make about 10k or more just from a free mint. And just let me give you an example. Well, I minted Neo Tokyo for free, and Neo Tokyo hit a floor of about 50 to 60 ETH just from a free mint. Also, another example would be NFT Worlds. They were also free and they went up to a floor of about 20 ETH or so. And so anything is possible in the NFT space, and that is why any free mints, you should try to go for it. But of course, you also have to do your due diligence. Don't interact with anything suspicious or weird websites. Only mint something that you're comfortable with and do your own research. And lastly, the last step will be to flip. Keep on flipping until you have enough liquidity to get into an NFT Alpha Group which gives whitelist opportunities. Simple as that. So for you guys out there who think you can't make money from NFTs because you have too little money, this is for you. Alright, so going back to my main strategy, the first step, which is to get into an NFT Alpha Group. There are so many groups out there, so choose one that you think is the most suitable for you and do check their Twitter pages out and see if you like them. Okay, let me give you 5 different NFT groups that I recommend. Okay, so first up, the cheapest one to get into is Furu's Mint Club Genesis Pass. Right now the floor is sitting at about 0.184 with a supply of about 1,200, and they already have established themselves pretty much since a few months ago. They have provided, over here they said 6 months of NFT trading experience already, and it was all for free previously before they released this pass. And I heard many good comments about Furu's Mint Club. Previously they were called the Free Mint Club or something like this, because they were mainly targeting free mints, etc. And so they are very experienced in the space already. So if you have very little liquidity and you really want to get into an alpha group, this one is for you, which is the cheapest as well. And they have many whitelist opportunities as well, so if you are lucky, you can get them. Moving on to what I think is mid-tier level NFT alpha groups. One of them is called the Plug Pass. Okay, is led by Kosher Plug on Twitter. Most of you guys should know him already. He's pretty big on Twitter with 200k followers or so, or 300k, I can't remember. And he also has a YouTube channel going through a lot of NFT projects weekly. And so his Plug Pass is sitting at 1.32 ETH already. It has been out for quite some time, a few months ago already. And the mean price was about 0.25. Again, I think this is pretty decent alpha group as well because he has a lot of experience flipping NFTs, and he also gives a lot of NFT whitelist opportunities. And just a disclaimer again, all these whitelist opportunities is really based on luck. So getting into these communities will just give you a higher probability and give you a higher chance of winning whitelist. So moving on to another mid-tier project is Champs Only. So Champs Only is a collection of 1,444. It's an alpha group as well, which gives a lot of whitelist opportunities. It has great connections in the space, and so I highly recommend Champs Only, which is the mid-tier level. Similar to Kosher's Plug Pass, Champs Only has about the same floor price and the same kinds of utilities. Okay, so just choose what you like when you have the liquidity to buy into these projects. Next up, I'll move on to what I think is the highest tier for alpha groups. First up will be Dark Echelon. Dark Echelon has solidified their presence in the NFT space. They have great connections as well. Almost all the hype projects have partnerships with Dark Echelon, and so they give a lot of whitelist opportunities to their community. And they are sitting at only about 520 supply. This limited supply gives you a way higher chance of winning this whitelist compared to the other NFT communities that I shared with you just now. So just take a look at Dark Echelon. This project is led by Amir Hussain, which is pretty much an OG in the space already, so do check him out and his project. So the last NFT alpha group I want to share with you guys is called DWC NFT Genesis Passes. There are 2 subscriptions, inverted commas. The one with 0.6 floor is the Genesis Carbon Edition, and the one with a floor price of 4.35 is the Genesis Diamond Edition. So what's the difference? So obviously, the Genesis Diamond Edition has a lower supply, and 70% of the whitelist opportunities that the group gets will be given to those Diamond Edition holders, because expectedly it's worth and valued higher, and therefore they get the most priority compared to the ones that hold Carbon Edition. They do still win whitelist opportunities, but definitely less chance compared to those holding the diamond ones. So in a sense, I would say if you really have the liquidity, again like Dark Echelon, get the Genesis Diamond Edition. I assure you, you won't go wrong with this. But again, if you have lower liquidity, the carbon addition is not a bad choice either. Just that you'll get lesser opportunities. So all these NFT Alpha groups is up to your preference, and like I said, Dark Echelon and DWC is my top picks for all these alpha groups, and I think they give the most whitelist opportunities, and also they partner with the most hyped projects in the NFT space, and so I think they are top tier, and do check all of them out and see what you like. Okay, once this step is done, once you buy into an NFT Alpha group, you then try to constantly make connections in the group, talk to people, find out more about the NFT space, and with this, you can get alpha from many different people, and therefore, this will help you to find new projects early as well, thus giving you more whitelist opportunities. So this is very, very important. And of course, you got to pray and hope that you win these whitelist raffles, because sometimes if you're having a bad week or a bad month, sometimes you win very little whitelist, which is very, very saddening. But if you're lucky, sometimes you can be on a streak, winning tons and tons of whitelist opportunities and getting into whitelist means of hyped projects as well. And this will definitely boost your portfolio, can easily flip for high profits, and that is the best case scenario. Okay, so step 2 is mint and flip your whitelist. And before that, you have to keep stacking whitelist. So whenever you have an opportunity to join a raffle for whitelist spots, just join that. Even though you think that the project will not do well, just join them, because good or bad, at least you have the choice to mint them at the mint price. If it does well, good for you. You have the whitelist and you mint them, flip them, you got profits. If it does badly, you just don't mint them. Simple as that. Regardless whether the market is the bull market or the bear market where it's boring and stuff, just try to keep stacking whitelist. This has made me a lot of money throughout the last few months. Just keep stacking on whitelist from different alpha groups, getting many different opportunities and joining all these raffles. And just stack them, I assure you, you would make money. Of course, the next step will be just to mint and flip if the project does well, till you have about 5 Ethereum of liquidity. Okay, so why am I so specific? Why do I just say 5 Ethereum liquidity? Okay, so most people, right, those who have less than 5 Ethereum, what I see is those people who have the opportunity to flip for at least 1 ETH profit, they will think that you'll go higher and higher, and so they do not sell. And what happens? In just a few weeks or so, the floor price drops and then it dumps. And then you go back to square one. So the trick is to get about 5 ETH liquidity first. Then you can start holding on to projects that you believe in, etc. And so you do not have to worry so much that you do not have any profits. So always mint, flip, until you have enough liquidity. In step 3, it is to reinvest your profits into established projects. My tip is to reinvest about 2/5 or 3/5 of your portfolio, roughly, into projects that have a proven team, great community, etc. Some of these projects, let's give you an example, is the Habibis. They have constantly given out many utilities to their holders. They've provided value to them, has a strong alpha group, called out many projects from low floors and calling them up, and right now their floor is way higher than when they called it. Adidas project is by Adidas, so of course you can't fit them. And metaverse land projects like www3, normally these metaverse lands projects tend to do extremely well because people really love to acquire land in the NFT space, similar to how people like to acquire real estate in real life. Or this is a degen risky style. You buy an NFT project that is relatively new, that just came out maybe 1-2 weeks ago, and that has very, very good art and is unique as well. So one example that I can think of is Muri. Muri has extremely great art and it was at 0.3 ETH for pretty much quite some time after it minted out. I think it pumped to about 1.4 ETH floor in the high. This just proves my point. Projects with good art will tend to do well. Also, another project which is pretty unique is called Peaceful. They had their public sale and it was open for quite some time. And I think the mint price was about 0.08 and it pumped to 0.3 to 0.4 ETH after it minted out, because Peaceful was a pretty unique project. It's a blockchain game as well, and they have pretty unique tokenomics and art, and therefore it pumped a lot. And so that's one example I can think of which is pretty unique. And the last point I want to make is, so at this current stage, after you reinvested into those mid-tier projects, after some time, it will definitely increase more in value. And when you think it's a fair value, you got to sell them. You invest all these profits that you can get into a blue chip, which you have high conviction in. So just let me give you an example. Let's say you were investing into a blue chip back in early March. These three examples, Azuki, CloneX, and Doodles, are projects that I think personally are blue chips. So let's say you invested in Azuki in early March with your profits. Azuki was 9 ETH or so early March, and in just a month, at end March, it hit a high of 35 ETH floor. Insane profits. If you got in at 9, sold at about 30, you still would have made about 20 ETH profits. Insane growth, right? In just a month or so. And 20 ETH at current valuations is about 60k USD. That's almost halfway to your 6-digit portfolio already. And I'm not saying all these projects will pump so much like Azuki did in March, but if you're lucky enough, this is the best scenario you can have. Okay, another example, CloneX. If you invested in early March, it was about 10 ETH or so, and in late March, it hit about 20 ETH. And so in a month, it is still about a 10 ETH profit. At current valuations again, it's at about 30,000 USD, which is very good as well. 1/3 of your 100k target. And lastly, Doodles, same thing. Early March, it was at 10 ETH, and March hit about 18 ETH. 8 ETH profits, very good profits as well in just a month. So this is just 3 examples. So there are many more out there in the NFT space, so many other NFT projects that can have similar projections. And so I assure you, if you follow this strategy, whitelist mints, flip them, mint them, have enough liquidity to reinvest them into mid-tier and top-tier blue chip projects, you can easily hit your 6-digit portfolio target. So yeah, that's it from me. Hopefully you guys can take something away from this video. In one of my next videos, I'll share with you guys some tools that I use in the NFT space which helps me to get even more profitable. And do remember, the markets are always here, but your capital may not. Peace.